recent video, I discussed the importance of resealing these old Mercedes 722.3 and 722.4 transmissions. Millions of them were produced from 1981 up to about 1995, and now they're old. When you start having problems with them, they start leaking. They leak internally, they leak externally. All these old rubber seals and sealing rings get hard, they lose their spring, and things start leaking. And when things leak internally, you start losing pressure, you start getting weird shifts and so on. So I figured in that video, I may have left some of you hanging with, what do you mean reseal the transmission? What is required to do that? So I thought I'd bring everything out today, go through every subassembly, show you the seals or the sealing rings that need to be replaced, and you can analyze this and decide, is this something you want to do? It's not rocket science. I think a lot of this is just fear. The mystery of automatic transmissions makes people think they're way too complicated. It does require knowledge, I must admit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with the case, and then I'm going to move down the table, and I'm going to show you every single O-ring and sealing ring that has to be replaced. Now, I may miss a few, okay? I think I count there's somewhere between 40 and 50 O-rings, lip seals, and sealing rings that you need to replace in these transmissions. I'm going to start with a brief overview of the case. You're going to have lots of little seals here and some sealing rings, gaskets like that you're going to have to replace. Some of these you may already be familiar with because most are related to external leaks. You have an O-ring here on the secondary pump. This was only installed up to 1990. You have your kick-down solenoid here, which has 1 or 2 O-rings on it. Then you have your B2 piston, has a big sealing ring like this, and has a seal that goes in here that has to be replaced. You move down to here, you have a couple places where you have small O-rings that can cause some pesky leaks. Then you have the B1, which has a seal inside as well as this outside seal. You have the Bowden cable O-ring that goes here. You have the fill tube O-ring that goes right here, and you have 2 aluminum sealing rings for the banjo fitting for the oil cooler line. Let me move over to the left side. Beginning here, you have a couple more sealing rings for this other banjo bolt fitting for the transmission cooler line. And then moving right up here, this is a real critical one and is often missed. This is the strut for the B1 brake band. This cap will leak and people will think, oh, I just need to goop these threads up. The threads are not the problem. The cap doesn't even have a seal on it, but you do have to remove the strut, and you can see there's 2 O-rings. And those O-rings will leak. And this leak here will literally drive you crazy. Okay, then you're coming up to the modulator. That has an O-ring in it right there. Then you have the shift shaft that has a seal that has to be replaced. And then you're looking at the other strut for the B2 brake band, and this has to be pushed out and then O-rings pushed back in. Okay, we're moving up now to the cover for the governor. That's got an O-ring that has to be replaced before you put the cover back on. And then, of course, on this rear cover, you're going to have a gasket and a rear seal for the output shaft. Located at the front of the transmission is this K3 assembly. It includes the reverse piston assembly and the pump. The pump is housed inside here and is removed this way, and you have a critical O-ring here. You can see that O-ring. You have a lip seal that has to be replaced on the piston. This is the front seal for the torque converter. You have a couple sealing rings, another seal located down here. So this assembly can come apart fairly quickly and be resealed with minimum effort. You do want to inspect the condition of the oil pump while you're doing this. This is the K1 drum, which houses a piston as well as your clutch packs. And you have to remove this piston because there are a couple of critical seals here. You have a lip seal here, and you also have another lip seal here, but down under this aluminum ring is what I call the hidden seal. And when you take that ring out, usually you find a hardened O-ring that just falls apart. The challenge here is you have to drill out some rivets and replace some screws, and I have a kit which will provide that for you and walk you through the process. This is the K2. It's different from the K1, but in principle, it's pretty much the same. You have this piston that moves in and out. You have a different O-ring setup here that rides inside this ring, and you have a lip seal right here. So you can imagine what happens when this lip seal fails. You start losing pressure, and you have, you know, your clutch packs here, similar to the K1, and the seals are kind of similar. This is a basic O-ring here, but this is a lip seal, another lip seal that's critical, and of course down in the bottom of this aluminum ring is another O-ring that breaks apart on you. So this is something you definitely want to replace. It does require drilling out some rivets and reinstalling this plate with machine screws. This is the planetary gear assembly. It runs right down through the center of the transmission, and it does need to come apart. You want to inspect the gears, but there are two large O-rings right here in this section. This is the one-way clutch assembly. You can see the big O-ring here, and then inside this cover plate there's another large O-ring. So this assembly is pretty straightforward. You have two large O-rings that need to be replaced along with this one sealing ring right here. This is a secondary oil pump that was found on many of the early models. They discontinued it after 1990. And the main purpose of this rear pump was so you could actually tow start the car. And it's quite intricate in all the things that you need to replace when you take this apart. You have two O-rings that you have to replace and four of these nylon plastic sealing rings. And of course, when this is apart, you want to inspect it for excessive wear. And finally, I'm going to show you the B1 and the B2 pistons. Now, on the B1, of course, you have an external cap seal here, but you also have a critical lip seal that goes right here on the bottom where this slides into the transmission. So this is one you definitely want to replace. And then moving over to the B2, we've talked about this in a couple other videos. This is a prime suspect for a lot of these transmission problems that you may experience. This requires a seal in the case to be replaced, and then you have an external seal. You can see there's different types, and I recommend you get the upgrade if you're rebuilding your transmission, which has a better seal. This is the early seal. You can see the later upgrade had a better seal. And you can also see the difference in size here, because some of you are going to say, well, what about the 722.4? I've shown you everything here from a 722.3. The 722.4 is basically the same. It's just everything is a little bit smaller. Here's an example. This is the B2 out of a 722.3, and this is the B2 out of the 722.4. Now, don't get me wrong here. I know some of you are thinking, oh, hey, Ken, you mean I only have to reseal my old transmission? Not so. It all depends on mileage and how well it's been maintained, service with regular fluid changes. But if you have a transmission over 200,000 miles, hasn't been opened up, don't expect that you won't have to replace some other parts. Prime suspects are reverse clutches. For some reason, these tend to wear out faster than anything else. You can see these are almost down to metal. There's no grooves in them at all. Look at that. Look how thin that one is. Now, if you go too long, and these will wear down to metal, and then you'll have to replace the steel rings as well. And then you have the clutch packs. You can see these are in much better shape when you have a groove still existing on the clutches. You can take measurements and decide whether or not you want to replace it. Sometimes you don't need to replace. Of course, the B2 piston, if it's the original style like this, you definitely want to replace that, and you want to remove the aluminum bushing and replace it with a nylon bushing. This is real important on this. And then, you know, these brake bands, this is a 2 brake band. They tend to wear more quickly. You can see here that chunks of the brake band material have literally broken off here. And this has been metal on metal. So you probably want to replace them. It all depends. Let's face it, you know, some of these are collector cars that may only get driven another 5,000 or 10,000 miles in their lifetimes. But if you're putting together a daily driver that you expect to put a lot of miles on, I recommend that you replace the clutch packs and you replace the brake bands. Earlier, I mentioned the need for knowledge, so I've decided to do a video manual. It'll be available on my website, and I'll just take you through the process of resealing or overhauling each sub-assembly. So there'll be a number of videos, and they can be purchased as a complete set. Now, what you can do is you can buy one or two and decide, yeah, is this something I want to do or not want to do? Keep in mind, if you decide you're going to just go buy a rebuilt transmission, check prices. I think you'll be shocked. But this is definitely something you can do. It's not a beginner job, but if you've worked on your old Mercedes and you're tired of the transmission slipping, sliding, flaring, jerking, then this video series may be for you. If you're interested in what I include in this video class, I'm going to explain it now. It's actually a 12-part video series that is 4.83 hours long. Can you imagine how long it took to film this? So I had to break it down into 12 parts, which are 20 to 30 minutes each. Part 1, I go step by step through the process of completely disassembling a 722.3 transmission. And part 2, I go through the internal inspection. This is inspecting everything inside the transmission to determine first if it's repairable, and then to figure out what parts you're going to need to order. That video is 23 minutes long. Then in part 3, I talk about other things that you may need. There are other PDFs you can download for additional information. I go over those in detail. I talk about other tools and equipment and supplies you're going to need if you take on this job yourself. That video is 28 minutes long. Then in part 4, I go over the front pump. The K3, they call it the Stonehenge assembly, which includes the K3 and the oil pump. Completely disassemble it, reseal it, and put it back together. That video is also over 20 minutes long. Then in part 5 and part 6, I go over the K1 and K2 drums, how you take those apart, how you reseal them, and how you get to the head and seals and replace those as well. And that's really important. You're going to need a nice press to do that. Part 7 is only 12 minutes long because I talk about resealing the planetary gear assembly. That's the center assembly that runs down through the transmission, and that only has about 2 or 3 seals in it, so it doesn't take a long time to do that one. Part 8, I talk about the rear pump. You know, on these transmissions up to 1990, they had this little rear oil pump on the back of the transmission. I call it the baby pump. I show you how to take that apart, reseal it, and get it back onto the transmission. Part 9 is 26 minutes long, and what I do here is I talk about how you prep the case, how you put all the things in the case ready for reassembly of the center core. And there are a lot of little things you need to do there. Then part 10, which is 30 minutes long, I use this assembly here to go over step by step how you insert the core assembly, which is the planetary gear assembly, and the reverse clutches, how you put those right down into the center section, making sure that you don't forget any of the spacers or any of the needle bearings. Then part 11, which is 26 minutes long, I talk about replacing the side components. There are components on each side of the transmission that you will assemble once you get the core assembly into the case. And then finally, part 12, which is 35 minutes long, we're going to talk about reassembling the valve body and getting the torque converter on and getting the filter and pan back on. Now, I want to make it very clear, in this series, I do not cover overhauling the valve body. That could be another 5-part series on its own. There's plenty of information online about rebuilding a valve body if you decide to tackle that yourself. So that's a quick summary on this 12-part video series I've done, which could help you rebuild your own 722.3 or 722.4 transmission. This is not a beginner's DIY job, but it is something you can do yourself. The important thing is knowledge. And that is what I set out to do when I created this transmission video class.